Hey everybody, hope you had a good weekend. Today we're going to look at some of the wallets we're going to prep out that were ordered over the weekend. Today's a shipping holiday, so I don't think we'll be able to send them off until tomorrow. But there's a lot of stuff, so we're going to do sort of like a slightly truncated version of the leather wallet showdown. I forget what I called it. Here's a look. Let's flip the camera around. I'll start showing you one by one what we're going to send out. So we've got a Frank the Enforcer, all reverse color 8 shell cordovan. You can see the range of color on the reverse side of the color 8, and that's because every piece of reverse cordovan is completely different and unique. Here's another fun one. This is a Chicago comb. This is the metal comb, and I probably should have taken it out. But it's this really cool metal comb with a black finish that I really like. And that goes inside of this reverse black sheath. Hi, Quan. Good morning. I also have a cool looking, we call it a Key Buddy, but this is our keychain belt clip in English Tan Dublin. I actually hook this to my jeans and then hang my keys off the other end, but you can also clip this around your belt with this. This is snap that comes across or apart right there. Capone money clip, black shell cordovan. This one has a hand-stained edge, which is very nice, but we're going to put a silver piece of hardware inside of that to finish it off. Here's one of my favorite shell colors ever, color 4 shell. Hey, Carl. Good morning. Hope you had a good weekend. Got a nice wax and burnished edge on this piece of color 4 shell, and then what makes it extra special is the reverse on the interior, and we were talking about the random look of the reverse shell on this Frank, and you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. Every piece is completely unique. Here's my actual favorite for many years now, the Amaretto shell cordovan. I don't know why I can't speak today. Gotta drink more coffee. Favorite shell color, Amaretto shell cordovan. It's really nice orangey tan. It has a really dynamic range of colors. So if you look at it at one angle, it's a little bit darker. Look at it at another angle, it's a little bit lighter and more vibrant. Still need to give this guy a little bit of a brushing. But it's very, very nice. I love Amaretto shell. Kind of reminds me of English Tan. So let's look at some English Tan. This is a huge piece of English Tan Dublin. This is our XL Valet tray that has these snaps that keep it all together. And then if you want to lay it flat and sort of travel with it, you can unsnap all those snaps, drop it in a bag. Another English Tan Dublin here. Vault key holder. Still need to put the screw posts inside of there for your keys to hang off, but this has a little snap closure. Another one, black Dublin, and all the Dublin has just incredible grain character, especially this particular piece of black. You might be able to see what I'm talking about. All that figuring in the grain I find to be very compelling, but also very textured, very much a textured look on the Dublin. That's very special. That's what's known as a full grain leather. Here's another Apple Watch band. I really liked how this one looked. This is another piece of reverse cordovan. So if you look at the back side of it, it's actually black shell cordovan that will touch your wrist. And then the part that the world will see is this greenish sort of teal blue color. This piece right here has a cool fade. So on this end, it's like a little bit more green and light, almost more aqua. And then towards the right, it gets a little bit darker. I thought that turned out great. Another piece here, reverse black shell cordovan on the vault key holder. So got to put the post in there. Here's another Valet tray. You can see the difference in size, or maybe you can't. Now you can. This is the XL tray on the table now, but you can see the squared off version. It's a little bit smaller. In fact, it's significantly smaller and not rectangular. We also do 2 different sizes of the Valet trays and a bunch of different leathers. Let's slide in some more stuff. There's a lot to look at today, and some incredible looking pieces, including this small zip. I love the raw natural shell cordovan. You can see there's like little sort of imperfections, quote unquote, in the raw natural. Little like it's less consistent looking than a normal piece of shell, and again, that's because it's the raw. So this one is raw natural on the outside with teal horsehide on the inside. Very, very nice. Here's a Bugs Moran natural shell cordovan. This is the most popular leather and color. Actually, most popular shell color. You can see actually this one has like a little measuring machine stamp in the top there, which we don't often see. Here's another Bugs Moran, a little bit different. So that Bugs Moran there is our traditional card layout, but we also have the vertical card layout that you can see here on this Color 8 shell piece. Still need to polish this one up. I see some like little wax spots on the edges of this guy. We do a hand-stained edge on all the Color 8, and it matches perfectly. I think it looks really, really beautiful. Check that out. We do a little beveling, stain it, wax it, burnish it. It gives it a really clean look. Here's another small zip, and I left this one untrimmed to show you how much stitching goes in here. This is English Hand Dublin small zip that does not have the threads trimmed and burnt from this one. So normally what we do is we cut down the thread to a couple millimeters long and then burn it and press down that burnt thread to sort of seal everything off. We have the black on the inside. Hey, BFAT, I saw you comment on my bass playthrough video. That was funny. Gave me a little chuckle this morning. Here's another Capone money clip. Natural Chrome Excel, and actually we have a natural Chrome Excel belt going out today. And I love the natural Chrome Excel, but we've actually slowly been moving away from it in favor of the Dublin leather, but it seems like people still request the Chrome Excel very frequently. So speaking of Chrome Excel, let me show you this Key Buddy. This is our keychain belt clip in the Color 8 Chrome Excel, which is super, super waxy. Look at that. Because as I rub my finger over this piece of Chrome Excel that's been sitting around for a while, as that Chrome Excel sits, the waxes start to migrate back up to the surface, which is really, really beautiful. Hi, Big Cheese. Good morning. We got a couple lighters going today. This is Black Shell Cordovan on our Bic lighter and lighter sheath, and we send them off with the lighter inside like that. Here's a keychain key fob. Hey, Bravo. Yamada, I use the Tony the Ant and John the Fox. Love it. Dude, greetings from Chicago. It's so cool that you're checking this out from Japan right now. We got a key fob in Black Shell Cordovan going today. And this has, all the key fobs have an antique brass split key ring that I like very much. And I'm really glad that you're enjoying your wallets in Japan. All right, Bugs Moran here. English Tan Dublin turned out great. This one has like really dramatic character in that grain layer, and that's what you should expect on the Dublin. However, each piece of Dublin is very unique, so you won't see this exact same piece over and over. Does Dublin come in a natural color, asks Quan. It does, but it doesn't really. I bet you we could get a color to match the Chrome Excel pretty well, but at the moment, I don't think that exists. But that's actually an interesting idea. Speaking of interesting, check out this epic reverse blue shell cordovan small zip. And this one has a teal horsehide on the inside. I'm going to try to unzip it with one hand. This one looks really sweet. I'm actually surprised that this one didn't ship out earlier, because I think it's like really special and unique. The way that the reverse shell wears in is really nice. It gets really bright and shiny and darker. So I think that one's going to age great. Here's another piece of Color 8 shell cordovan, the classic. And we have those waxed and burnished edges with the hand staining on this also. And that's just a really beautiful, clean look. Here's a look at the inside. We try to cut that ink stamp into nice visible spots. Another Color 8 piece, Frank the Enforcer this time. Same hand stained edges. You can see we haven't done the wax and burning on or burnishing on this. Hi, Max. Good morning. I don't necessarily recommend the vertical Tony or the vertical Bugs. I find the traditional card holders to be easier to use for me, but that's not to say you wouldn't have a different experience. We don't make a vertical Tony right now. Speaking of Tony, this is a Tony right here. So Tony the Ant has that bill slot on the outside. We are considering making a vertical version of this. I find the way that the cards are inserted on this traditional layout, like you see here on the Tony the Ant and you see here on the Bugs Moran, I find this card holder layout and orientation to be a little bit easier to get cards in and out of, which is why we designed it that way. But a lot of people were asking for the vertical version, so we started making it, and it seems like people gravitate more towards that currently. A lot of people are picking up vertical Bugs. All right, I forgot to pull out the tannage blend that's shipping with this. We got some Saphir Cordovan cream. This is a product that we sell, but we also put on every piece of shell cordovan that goes out. So there was something we were looking at earlier that I said needs to get polished up. In fact, all this stuff needs to get like a little bit of application of the Cordovan cream here in the neutral color. We let it sit for a couple minutes and then brush it, polish it up. And it really fills in the scratches nicely. So we got that going out probably tomorrow. That's when the mail's going. Here's another Color 4 piece. So this one would be good to compare to the other Color 4 Fox that we saw earlier. So this one has a mock horsehide interior on it. Or excuse me, not mock horsehide. This is actually neither of those things. This is natural Latigo steer hide that we just had made thinner to our specs. And so we got Color 4 shell on the outside with the steer hide on the inside. Helps keep the cost down. I actually notice it also keeps the thickness to be a little bit more manageable. I like the thinner wallets personally. Here's a Fat Herbie. Love Fat Herbie, especially in the English Hand Dublin. Got this one prepping out. This is actually pretty close to done. You can see the edges have already had like a little stain to it, and then a waxing and burnishing. It's a great looking leather, especially once it's finished up. Same here with the Capone Money Clip. English Tan Dublin. I forgot to mention, if you ordered something over the weekend, you're probably seeing it in the video here today. You know, your exact wallet that would be shipping most likely tomorrow is my guess. Here's a cool private stock Johnny the Fox in black shell cordovan with the gator texture. And the inside we have black horsehide latigo. So it's all blacked out, really cool looking gator shell Johnny the Fox there. Another Color 8 piece. Capone Money Clip this time, same hand stained edge. You can see this time we have the money clip actually inserted and installed on the inside of this guy. It's held in really nicely. We do double stitching on the spine of the wallet here with a little bit of a thicker thread. So that tends to stay in place very nice. And if you have any issues, sometimes people have issues with the hardware, but there's like a little post in there that screws together. So you can always tighten it back by screwing it flush. Idea. And when those screws are put together tightly, the tension is more significant. Here's a cool, another Dublin piece, black Dublin with really awesome figuring in the grain, really dramatic look. Combining it with the teal horsehide again on the interior. Love the combo of black and teal. And here's our most popular wallet, Johnny the Fox in English Tan Dublin. It's just beautiful and very familiar of a style, so I think that's why we sell so many of these. We do also, the team here does a really nice job with the stitching and the finishing and the cutting. Everything's really well done. We got a great group of folks here. Here's a Frank the Enforcer in natural shell cordovan. You can see the natural shell doesn't have a stained edge because it is the natural color. So we do like a little waxing and burnishing just to fill it in and smooth everything out. So Frank the Enforcer with the 2 card holders on the front. There's a center piece here that fits folded cash and then a slot in the back. Let's see where to put that. Another Johnny the Fox. Oh, this is a Color 4. Maybe we had 2 of them. Yeah. I was trying to not pick duplicates just because there's a big stack of orders that also aren't pulled. So I just wanted to show one of everything that's going. And also, anybody that's picked up one of the marbled pieces, I don't have it in the video here today. Those are all unique pieces, so I need to double check to make sure I send out the right thing. But I really want to linger on this Color 4. I love Color 4. I'm starting to feel like it's putting Amaretto in contention, but I really love this medium brown. And then some angles it has that like a bit of a caramel. It gets a little bit more orange, which is really nice. And this one has a cream contrasting stitch with a natural latigo on the inside. Ooh, another lighter sheath in reverse black shell cordovan. Yeah, Color 4 I feel like is a more, maybe it's because it's less common, but I just feel like it's a little bit more of a interesting Color 8. Although, I don't know, when I see, like, there was that bugs. When I see something like this with the hand stained edge, or even the vertical bugs, there's something about the Color 8 that's also very interesting. I just wonder if it's because it's a little bit more familiar that I'm sort of ho-hum about it. I'm going to flip this around a sec while I organize my stuff. We've got a couple more belts and some irregulars that we're prepping out. And after we do that, I'll take a couple minutes and answer some questions. Hi, ICCW. Good morning. Does Horween use horse and cow leather? Yes. They also do some bison, which is very similar-ish to the bovine stuff, like the steer hides. But the bison is really, really, it's like very figured. There's a lot of texture to it, and it also tends to be thinner, surprisingly. It's roughly half the thickness of the steer hides, and that's because the bison have like a hump to them, and the skin actually gets a little bit thinner in that hump section. So they have to make everything a consistent thickness, so it's sort of like the least common denominator issue. Before I flip it back over here, we did successfully capture some conversations for the Full Grain podcast last week. And we got 3 of them now that I still have to work on, but I don't think those are going to come out until February, it looks like. And we're trying to get ahead a little bit there, but I'm really excited that the show's coming back. All right, we had a lot of belts going out today. So I pulled one of each color that we'll be sending just so we can look at them together. Here's an underrated Chrome Excel color. This is the black Chrome Excel. You can see the reverse side of it is that natural color. And this is what is known in the world of leather as the crust color. We actually do on all the Chrome Excel. On the reverse side of the leather, you can see it's much more filled in than you might see on other leather belts. And that's just a little bit of extra cost and time from the tannery. It's a little bit, usually it's like a little bit more fibrous and less dense and tight like this. So if you look really closely, you can see all those fibers have had an application of resin put into it, and then everything is sort of smoothed down flat. I think it just gives it a little bit of a cleaner look on an unlined belt. And I also really like unlined belts because they're very comfortable. Hey, Nataku, good morning. It's great to have these live chats where people chat. Usually I'll do the videos on the camera and not be able to talk to you guys. And every now and then we'll get some comments there, but it's always fun for me to talk to you guys. So here's an underrated color. I really like that combination of the black finish on top of the natural color. For our black Chrome Excel belts, we also have the antique brass buckle. Here's a brown Chrome Excel belt, which is actually, sorry, we're getting tied up a little bit here. Here's a brown Chrome Excel belt. This is a very popular color right now. I think a lot of people are trying to pick up the brown Chrome Excel to match their footwear. And if you look as I flex it, the undertones are much lighter on this piece of Chrome Excel. In fact, all Chrome Excel colors except black have that pull-up, which is very beautiful. It might not be translating super well here. This is a navy Chrome Excel belt, which is a darker navy blue on the surface and a really light aqua blue for the undertones, if you see that there. This one's like a deceptive, very deceptive color. And it's really beautiful grain also. It's super waxy, oily. You might even be able to see as I rub my finger across, I can sort of move the wax that has been finished on there, which is pretty wild. Ooh, you've had belt for two years? That's awesome, man. Here's a natural Chrome Excel. Looks like we got some dents on this one that can get polished up a little bit. Beautiful character on all the Chrome Excel, but natural, this is our most popular. I'm trying to show you a close-up so we can get a good look at all the grain in there, which is a very unique looking grain on the Chrome Excel. This one is color 8 Chrome Excel. So black, brown, navy, natural, color 8. Those are all the Chrome Excel colors that we have for the belts. And color 8 is a burgundy, obviously. This is the same idea of the color as the color 8 on the shell cordovan that we were looking at, but translated into a different leather tannage of the steer hide. So this is Chrome Excel steer hide, extra thick leather that we use for belts. And this is as thick as leather gets, by the way, or just about as thick. Roughly, if you're a leather crafter, you're not going to find much leather beyond 10 ounces. And even these days, it's even harder, seemingly, to find thicker leather. So that's what we make all our belts out of. We actually have to order leather sometimes like a year in advance just to get this stuff. And it's really, really nice. It's worth the wait. On the belts, we actually have these teardrop-shaped holes, which I think are great. That's how the belt is going to sort of stretch a circular hole anyways. So we've sort of expedited that process for you, but I also think it looks really neat. And I think I'm going to try to this week to change all the belts to have 7 holes. So we added a hole. Well, it's not closer to the tip. Basically, we added 2 holes this direction so you can get more coverage of sizes, which is actually going to cost us a little bit more money to do, which I'm not excited about. But we get a lot of returns on belts for people not being able to hit their size. So we figure giving them a little bit more coverage might help with that. We also have the English Tan Dublin going out. It's really beautiful. Just looking at it right here, that depth of color, you can see some of those lighter sort of undertones and then darker on the surface. But when I flex it, we can reveal all of those lighter undertones and then even rub it back into place. Because what's happening here is there's a hard wax layer that was finished onto the surface of the grain that when we flex, we're mobilizing the wax on the surface, and then we can mobilize it back into place by just applying a little bit of friction and heat. Whoa, big comment there. Sorry. Did you guys end up making any NATO straps in shell? Yeah, we have, Max. We can have them made to order, but we only do 20 millimeter NATOs right now. Poke on Rocks 5, what's up, man? New names, good to see you. You love the wallets. It's been a dream to own one for a while. For someone who's a 5 cards, would you recommend the Capone, Johnny the Fox coming from a bifold? I love this question. 5 cards is not a lot. I actually think the Capone in any color is a really good choice for you. When I use the Capone, I actually wore mine in my back pocket, but a lot of people like to wear this in the front pocket. These exterior card slots are tremendously useful. I found when I used mine that they were very easy to get cards in and out of, and especially with 5 cards, you can probably just put like your main credit card in one of these, and then anything you're using less frequently on the inside. And in fact, you could put like a driver's license on the back or something. I think it's great. I don't carry a lot of cash, but I did carry cash when I was wearing the Capone. I found the money clip, the spring bar clip inside of it, to be very useful and easy to use. Some people don't like this type of mechanism that clips down and holds your cash in place. So if you carry cash, it's pretty easy for me to recommend the Johnny the Fox, although there are definitely too many card holders for you, because there's 6 card holders in the front, and then there's actually hidden card holders underneath there. So you can put many more cards inside of this guy than you're used to, but I actually think that might be a good choice because it's just going to be thin and easy to use, and you can kind of expand if needed. And you also notice the footprint of the Johnny the Fox is roughly similar to the Capone, so you're not saving like a ton of space. Let's try to line them up. It's like a little bit taller, maybe like a ½ inch taller. So I would consider those 2, but also the Bugs Moran in either the normal card orientation or our traditional Bugs Moran here, or the vertical bugs. I think could be a really good choice for 5 cards. Those are my recommendations. And on the bugs, you can fit cash underneath the lower 2 card holders. Oh, Sean's here. What's up, man? One of our podcasts is with Sean. Everybody check out Dashing Chicago. That's Sean's store. Any news regarding Shell Cordovan belts from Ashland? Yeah, AFTAB, we had a meeting last week. We're going to try to do some pre-orders on the Shell belts. Let me show you some irregulars before we get to Q&A here. Natural Shell Cordovan Fat Herbie. This is an irregular. There's some scuffs and scratches on all the irregulars. This one looks like it has like a little spot right there that we probably couldn't remove, which saves a bunch of money for whoever picked this one up. So congrats. This is a really good looking Herbie, especially for an irregular. Another shell piece, Frank the Enforcer, Natural Shell Cordovan. This is also a regular. Looks like we've got maybe some similar issues here. I see some like small dents and scratches. But each of the irregulars are unique, so it's almost irrelevant for me to show you why it's irregular. And then this one is actually one of the worst irregulars that we've had, with all these little scratches on the surface. It looks like somebody loaded this one up and then scratched it on the exterior, and the interior is super, super clean. So usually the irregulars are very small and minor. This one's got like a little bit more intense scuffs and scratches. Okay, so Q&A time. If you guys got questions that I haven't answered already, drop it in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer you. But if I may have missed one of your questions before, so please feel free to ask again. I have a busy week this week because I'm going out of town Thursday and Friday. I'm on my longest vacation ever. So this will be a nice trip for me. I'm been really busy, and it'll be good to relax with the family and stuff. But we're also got the shell belts. I don't know when that's happening, but I do anticipate making something in color 4, I think is our first run. And we're gonna put up one and have it be pre-ordered so we can make your size perfectly. I'm actually wearing a black shell one right now, one of our prototypes. Actually, let me lay it out for you here. Oh, cool. I got some hand burnished Franks on the table that I didn't expect to see. All right, here's my, this is one of the first, whoa, let me flip it around. Here's one of my first prototypes for the shell belt. This one has a different color on the lining, which is not what I'm expecting to do all the time. I wore this one a bunch. We were trying different methods of how to combine the seam, or to combine the 2 pieces of shell into a pleasant seam. And this is sort of how we came about it. And it's pretty difficult. You sort of skive down the leather and fold it against itself backwards and sew it inside out. So again, this is not the official one. And then it looks like this one actually has hand punched holes that are circular. We're not doing the circular holes for the shell belts. So I think this one was like a full done by hand belt, which is very, very nice. So we're not ready to launch it yet, but I think the first color we're gonna do is color 4. Somebody did some hand burnishing tests here that I haven't looked at yet. Check out the luster for the burnished. I think we call this hand glazed also. That's how a V-tip Alden is done. Nice. Yeah, it's a little bit of a cleaner look than layering the 2 pieces on top of each other. All right, guys, I got see any questions here. Probably get the Capone Fox. Yeah, that's, Poke on Rocks. We had a meeting at a at a bar actually to try to figure out what we're doing this year, and Capone Fox is on the list. And I have a star next to it. We actually have that pattern ready to go. We just haven't been able to restock everything. And now that we're trying to, it seems like we're getting slightly caught up, that we might be able to include the Capone Fox in some offerings. What is your favorite interior color for a Capone? How thick is it? I don't know if I have one. If you look at the last private stock video I put up last Friday, you'll be able to see a Capone Fox in there. It's not it's not thin, it's not thick. It's roughly the same thickness as everything else that we do. It's probably a slightly thinner version of the Johnny the Fox. And it is 1.6 millimeters thicker than our Capone. So it's not terribly thick. Does shell belt have a lining? Yeah. Are the stitches running along the sides? Yeah, we have a stitched, it's all stitched around the outside edge, and there is a liner. So it's a 2-piece belt, or 2-layer belt. This, I shouldn't be showing you this because this is like literally the first prototype. But if you look closely, there's actually 2 layers of leather that are backed to each other in here. So you can see the shell on the top, and then there's a different leather on the back here, which I'm actually not, I think that's Dublin. I'm not really sure what that is. And then, yeah, we stitch all along the border. So for us, the thought process was to make more of like a casual jean belt out of the Cordovan. That would be coming soon. So don't hold your breath for that one, but that is on the top of our list to do. What side of the shell Cordovan gets ultimate patina? Honestly, I think the reverse side gets a really nice look as you wear it. That's my simple answer. Capone Fox is cool. We'll launch that soon. I also have this week. So here's your spoiler for the week. I'll try to do another video tomorrow and Wednesday, just like we did today. But also, some of these belts behind me here, we have some irregular belts that are pretty nice. Same as the other irregulars where there's like very minor imperfections that we'll just sell for a discount. So I've got those coming up. I have a new leather that we made a bunch of product out of that I sort of think I accidentally showed it in a video, but that's a leather that when people come into the shop and they see these wallets we made out of the new leather, it seems like most people are gravitating towards that and to my wallet, which is this blue. This is the, what do we call it? Royal Blue Cypress. It seems like people are really gravitating towards this new stuff, which is great to see. Also, you might have noticed the team has been doing we're still in the middle of it, but we've got some more like organization type things and trying to get a little bit more organized. And I have more stuff coming to get us organized tomorrow. So we're improving every day. Dave Shue says you stopped in this week and Matt helped with fully customize a Frank that is half vertical, half normal color 4. Just wanted to shout out. It was really awesome and looking forward to it. Man, that's awesome. I don't know if we got to chat, but I really appreciate you stopping by. We have few people come by every day, and it's really great to see them. And it's also a quick side note on coming to visit. We're happy to do it. We love to chat. We'd love to show you the stuff in person. That's the best way to experience it. But usually it's best to call ahead or message ahead so we can schedule our time together. You can see we're not really set up as like a store. It's more optimized for a workshop. And that's how we run our days. We're trying to make this stuff and send it out. So sometimes if we're in the middle of something, it's hard to help you. But if we can plan for it, much better for us and thus better for you. Oh, cool, Wes. Glad you like it. Thoughts on selling mini footballs? I haven't thought about mini footballs, but I have thought about regular footballs. Haven't made much progress on that. All right, I got to run, guys. It's been a little over time for me, but I really appreciate you guys being here. It was really fun for me. I wish I wasn't so busy. But we'll talk again tomorrow. I'll be back. All right, see you guys. See you, Sean.